Fabulous Tales and Fables ASAP by Owen T. Duggan. Story 8. Bad Lords and Ladies, Good Slave. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This tale gets weird.
Bad Lords and Ladies, Good Slave. Section 1. Elsewhere. The Earth is special, is different from elsewhere. Earth has things like personal names and labels of shame, families and enemies, serious stories and stupid jokes. It has memories and aspirations, regrets and fears, piles of money and mountains of debt. Elsewhere, there is a place with almost none of those things. This place does, however, have one thing that Earth also has. This place has people. This place is the disk planet Vars. This story happened there.
One day on planet Vars, in a certain area once populated but now in ruins, a herd of a couple hundred male slaves were being prodded into place so that they could hear what their next task was. They were eager. There was a delay. Waiting, the slaves shuffled their feet and gazed all around. They talked very little, which was normal since people on Vars don't use many words. Now and then, someone said, "A slave has one master, but a master has many slaves," which was something people said when idle. They also mentioned the obvious weather. "Sky looks cloudy today." A few might wonder if the task today was to repair the ruined dwellings they could see, spilling rubble along a vacant avenue. The greenish jade-colored stone, commonly called green soap because of its texture, was the standard building material for structures. Posts and beams of dark, heavy, oily wood, called darkwood, were used as well. And so the slaves waited to learn the task. Though the task was unknown to the slaves, they knew where it came from. Someone with the title Le Chef Taskeur would ceremoniously pass it down. A chef taskeur did not decide the task. That originated with the overseer of the area, the boss, who in this case was a Marquis Lord of the Frontier. They didn't have personal names. No one did. Only titles. The title for a slave was slave. Everyone knew his function, or her function, or its function.
Now, a little bit about Varusian society. People knew their places and the limits of what they could do or say or appear to think. Slaves knew they lived, worked, and died at the pleasure and whim of their master. Nothing could be changed about that. That's how it worked. Slaves were strictly segregated according to their sex. However, neither males nor females were considered higher ranking. Only the rarities who turned out sexless were treated differently, being removed from the company of others and sent away. The current master of this particular area and these particular male slaves was a male, a Marquis Lord of the Frontier, but the master could just as well have been a Marquis Lady. The phrase "of the frontier" was generally meant to match the type of zone overseen. This one was currently zoned Frontier. Sometimes zone designations were shifted. If it were zoned urban residential, then the slaves, males or females, would have fallen under the hand of a grandee lord or lady of the urbanity. And that is just a little bit about Varusian society.
Still waiting, the slaves fell to filling time by flipping things. Not really a game, more of a simple time filler. You take something more or less flat, you flip it. You watch which side is up, and you pause for a moment. Then you do it again. The point was supposed to be to invoke fascination. Though in practice it invoked nothing at all. Meanwhile, it was considered extremely antisocial to say, "This seems pretty pointless. Does anyone else think so? Can we do something else, please?" The tension, and maybe the terror, of the possibility of someone saying such things might have added to the experience of flipping. Who knew? Since no one talked about it. They just did it. They just flipped things. Small rocks, boards, wooden plates. Finally, the task at hand was announced. A chef-tasker was stepping up to a stand of speaking, arms wide, one hand holding a cone of speaking. It was time. The chef, he this time, made all the standard gestures. Excitement rose. Then all became solemn. Receiving the task was a profound moment. To be used to do something useful for the master, as everyone must understand, was the highest virtue. Like the flipping of a flat rock that could have gone either way up, the slaves learned that the task was not at all to repair or rebuild any structures. Rather, it was the opposite. The task was to pull down whatever remained of previous structures. And so, without pointless complaint or useless delay, the 200 male slaves shuffled towards the ruins. And the only disharmony was when one slave among them blurted out, "Sounds clear enough, but I don't really understand why we have to do this." Rather on the young side, this oddball slave just as soon blended back into the nervous herd. The antisocial outburst, unnoticed by the chef-tasker, was forgotten. The slave who said it, one who spent rather a lot of time perched on the verge of saying antisocial things, managed with great effort to resist the urge to say anything further, to blurt, for example, "This so-called task we're doing seems useful, but it feels totally pointless. Don't you think so?" Just saying.